Councilmember Syrop.
This ordinance, at the moment, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable with it. Just trying to be mindful of equity and the racial disparity that comes with enforcement, like Councilmember Roach had mentioned. There is an event that many of the elected officials up here, including myself, and many prestigious community groups attend, where we all witness animal abuse, and we park illegally for a mile to witness it, and that's the rodeo. And you know, I'm sure a lot of the folks at that rodeo are also Second Amendment fans too, and they're probably packing some heat as well. But that's treated very differently. You know, that's sanctioned by the powers that be. And here we have a sideshow that, to me, is another cultural celebration. And when you have folks coming from Modesto and Los Angeles, you know what that sounds like to me? Tourism. And we talk about having culture and having people from other cities come to visit our town. And here's an event that is very unique to the Bay Area, that is celebrated in our music that, you know, I've listened to since I was in elementary school and middle school. For me, you know, the U.S. has this very long history of outlawing the pastimes of people of color in order to incarcerate them and push them into what is essentially contemporary slavery. And I can't help but feel like right now this is another version of that, and that's why I'm just really reluctant to say I'm fully on board. And so I think there needs to be these pathways, or at least a process with which we can develop them. Thank you.
I had no idea I was going to hear this issue associated to like modern day slavery and the torture of animals at rodeos. Because, I mean, with all due respect to my colleague, you know, I've been going to rodeos my entire life in virtually 5 different states, and I've never seen, you know, bull riders get so, so intense where they started shooting all of the spectators up in the stands. And, you know, it's to associate this with that, I think wasn't a very good association. We have really taken this word equity and have really perverted it, really. And we now apply equity to virtually everything that we think is unfair or unequal or, you know, or something to that effect. Not once did we talk about here on all these comments about the negative impact sideshows have in Tyrell, in Mannon, A Street, Smalley, you know, predominantly black and brown streets, where black and brown people go to bed at 9 and 10 o'clock because they have to wake up at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning to go to work. And then they get woken up by these reckless, totally dismissive and disregarding street, you know, sideshow people. And to talk about, you know, these terms of, you know, to associate this in terms of we're not being equitable to the people who commit this, really? Is that, in fact, we went as far as now we want to provide spaces for these folks? I wasn't going to say this, but I'll say it. That's why we can't have nice things around here, you know? That's why we can't have nice things. Because when something like this comes up, these are the things that, you know, we're concerned about. We're concerned about, you know, the drivers of the car. We're concerned about, you know, the spectators. You know? And yet, these are the folks that they completely disregard our neighborhoods. Completely disregard it. Right? Restorative justice? Absolutely. You're not going to find another person that supports restorative justice more than me. But do you think you want to use restorative justice on one of these guys that we catch in our car, that we catch in our neighborhoods? Already they disregard our neighborhood. They disregard our family. They disregard how we sleep in the mornings. We're going to bring them and have them go talk to all the neighbors and say, I'm sorry. No, it's not going to happen.
At the end of the day, who is going to end up getting those fines? What do you think the ethnicity of the folks getting those fines is going to be? The majority of them. Black and brown folks, I would argue. And so that's something else I want to be mindful of. And, you know,
and speaking as a brown man, if I'm out there, find me. You know, because just because we're brown or black and we're out there, we should be fined and we should be held accountable for that behavior. Councilmember Zermeño.
Thank you. Apologies if I did not find it, but I was looking for the word donuts in this report.